Hello, everyone. My name is Marissa, and I am very excited to offer you guys these divination sessions today. So, we are diving into head versus heart type of stuff just to see where we're at in terms of just how you're navigating your reality and how much of it is led by the head, which generally, not, all of the time, but generally, when the mind gets involved, that's when we start to feel constricted, restricted, limited, etc. And when the heart is guiding the way, that's when we tend to burst through paradigms, burst through limitations, and we find ourselves living in true joy and true fulfillment. So we're just going to engage and see where you guys are at. I really don't know what's going to come through. I never do. And then we have some general advice how to bridge the gap so you're much more heart-led, right? And I'm hoping that the guides will bring through things that are very practical for you guys in making the transition from being much more of a heart-led individual and a little bit less of a mind-led individual. So you guys have 4 piles to choose from today. If you're not drawn to anything, just always honor that as well, because there just might not be a relevant message here for you today. But if you come back, you might find at a later time when maybe you're guided to, if you're having some difficulty navigating your path, maybe then that would be a relevant time to come back to this video. But whenever you guys are ready, we're going to hop right into these readings. Hey, pal 1, here's your reading for head versus heart. So I haven't looked at any of your cards. Today we have 3 oracles, 1 archetype for your head, 1 archetype for the heart, and an oracle just kind of like advice overall. And then I have tarot cards just in case. I'm going to pre-shuffle the tarot cards before each pile because I didn't feel like dividing all the tarot cards. I just want to use one deck today. So yeah, up for head and heart, just to clarify, but just so you know, we're going to go through all of this real time together. So let's hop right into it. Spirit, what does pile number 1 need to know about the energy they're in? Head versus heart. We're going to start with the head. What's the head telling you? The bridge. Okay, so this card is my ultimate card for making a leap into being a being that is guided by their heart and not so much by their head. This reminds me of the rainbow bridge. It's a terminology that intuitively, I haven't really looked it up very much, but what my guides tell me and intuitively what I gain from that is the heart is the rainbow bridge, and beings that are on the path of freedom and that are, have made that transition to a great extent of navigating from the heart, they are the rainbow bridge, so to speak. The bridge of allowing higher densities and higher codes and just like light codes in general to ground on the planet. You're like vessels, right? And so what I'm hearing overall is that you guys are already there. You guys are already living that. You guys, my pile number 1, to a large extent, understands that their heart is the gateway, and it is essential and vital and important for fulfillment, for you to feel fulfilled, to be guided by the heart. So for majority of you guys drawn to this pile today, you're kind of already aware that there is a transition that needs to be made, that wants to be made. And there also might be, for some of you, this might be in particular, like you guys might be navigating how to help someone out at this time or how to seek help yourself. What I'm seeing here is like one hand reaching out to another. So there might be something here about needing help, whether that be like physical, tangible help or just like needing a mentor or needing like a spiritual guide or feeling like you just need or being that for other people, right? There's going to be all different people tuning into this. So there might be like, you guys might be in a position where you're trying to navigate a situation from the level of the heart. There might be a lot of mind involved, right? And so, yeah, let's get deeper into it. What else do the tarot cards have to say about the energy you're in of the mind right now? We have the Hanged Man. Okay, yeah. So there's definitely a sense here of like, you guys understand, right? I feel like your mind might be trying to get very active in your incarnation right now about something in particular. Your mind might be trying to get very active, or in general, this could be just saying holistically that you guys understand that when your mind starts to try to take over, you recognize it and you're like, no, you surrender with this Hanged Man, and you are very conscientious of like where you're making decisions from. So my pile number 1s, you guys are very conscientious that you're not making decisions from a place of like fear or from a place of anxiety, and you really do your best to do the right thing and understanding that your heart is the gateway to that, right? So this is a very wise pile. Pile number 1, you guys are beings that are predominantly guided by your your heart versus your head. And this too, the hands could also just mean in general that you guide other people through that process as well, that you are a teacher of these principles. You walk your talk. What else do we have? Oh my gosh, we have the High Priestess. So yeah, there is a very good balance here in terms of, I feel like for the most part, you guys don't get too caught up in the mental narrative. So this is a pile that has done quite a bit of unearthing. I feel like this is also saying that, there comes a point to where we spend so much time like immersed in spiritual teachings, and we spend so much time understanding spiritual law, that the ego, the very rampant negative ego, like fear-based mind, is very loud in the beginning stages, and then we start to like divine mind and ego mind is very easy to decipher. But then you get to a point where you've spent so much time in the divine mind where your smaller mind has kind of absorbed itself into that divine mind. And so that's where I'm seeing pile number 1 is at. Your smaller mind has actually done quite a bit of absorbing into the divine mind, and you do your best to when you get too caught up in things, when you recognize when you have a trigger, and you recognize when you go into an anxious state. And so you do your best to zoom out, and you do your best to, like, no matter what, lean on your intuition versus making decisions out of fear. And sometimes that means it doesn't mean that it's seamless, right? I feel like you guys give yourself permission at the very least to not have it seem seamless, and to like bump up against your external reality, and to not like seem perfect, right? And to understand that that journey, that process is one that is going to, be a little bit messy, and it's whatever, right? This is a schoolroom. This is just like a place to explore and to have fun and to learn. We're ultimately going to always learn, but there's a really good balance in your mind. Let's see what's going on in the heart. You have the Kiss. Oh my gosh. This group. Okay. Group number 1. It hit me up. Okay. This is beautiful energy. So your heart is open. I feel like this could be talking about romantic love, but in general, I feel like you guys just have your heart in a very good space. You're very illumined. Your guys is like, your head and your heart is very balanced. My pile number 1. And there might be like external reflections coming back to you. So what I mean by that again is like these hands outreaching. You see how they're outreaching here and then they meet. So there might be like instances where you're really being confirmed of just how far you've come. And there's people reaching their hand out, and you're reaching your hand out to other people. And I just really feel like this sense of like serendipity, this beautiful dance that you're sharing with other people, and that you're going to share more and more with other people. And this feels like a divine love. This feels like you guys are really approaching those realms of like Christ consciousness and the Buddha mind. What is that? It is like not relying on other people. Like your cup is full, right? If you have a pitcher that is full of water and it's full, like you have no problem distributing that to other people. But if your pitcher is empty, then that's where you have these demands attached to it. And that's where you have like expectations from other people, right? But you guys, your cup overfloweth, my pile number 1. You guys are in a really beautiful space. So let's see what else the tarot has to say. Yeah, I love that we have like intuition. We have a lot of cards about intuition and surrender in the card that represented the mind. And then we have this, King of Swords, which can represent like the realms of the mind, but a mature sense in the realms of the heart. So this really tells me that you guys are very balanced. You guys are really operating in a really good space. I feel like I'm seeing too, like we have this rainbow depicted here. And that reminds me of this rainbow bridge. And again, they're indifferent. This is in the head. This is in the heart. So this is really telling me that if you guys were even questioning, like, is my heart in the right space when I'm like doing things and when I'm going towards things and when I'm meeting people, if there's like, it's like your guys' integrity is so high that I feel like you question your every move. And like things that are really born from a pure place, there's still like a little bit remnants of like not wanting to do something out of your own integrity that I feel like sometimes at the very least that can trip you up. But I feel like that's few and far between, and your guides are telling me that that's something that's being ironed out, right? So next we have the Page of Cups. So, I mean, there's such innocence from this group. There's such innocence, yet balanced with a beautiful and tangible amount of wisdom. Like this is an extremely wise, very advanced group of souls that are drawn to this pile. I mean, you guys, I feel like you guys are entering realms where you just feel like you are blissed out, regardless of what's going on the planet. You guys have created your own bubble of reality. Like, you guys literally are the rainbow bridge, my pal number ones. You guys are grounding an immense amount of light codes on the planet. And at the very least, I don't think anyone who is drawn to this pile wouldn't already be feeling that. So it's safe to say that a lot of you, pile number one, are experiencing like your own heaven on earth, and it's only going to get better. And I feel like there's more of that rainbow energy coming through. This is telling me that you guys are doing it. You guys are that bridge, and you are navigating. Like, your mind is the servant. Your mind is kind of, what I mean by that, it's a servant of the soul, and the heart is the gateway to the soul, right? The heart, learning intuition through the heart is really important, because when you don't have, like, when you're immersed in all the realms of wisdom and your heart's not there, that's when you get really cold teachers, and that's where things can get really weird, and that's when you have the potential for like very dangerous kind of situations. But when you're operating from realms where the heart is there, you have gone through your heart in order to tap into your intuition, then there's that compassion that is needed and necessary on the planet at this time, to where you're not binding yourself and other people to more suffering and more karma, but you truly are setting people free. And that is what I see from my pile number ones. You have set yourself free to such an incredible extent, and you're helping other people set themselves free as well. So I cannot wait to see what your last card has to say. There's so much here about your innocence, your purity, your creativity, your beauty, internal beauty, external beauty. People want to dance with you. People want to make love with you, like within life in general. People want to meet you. People want to hang out with you. I want to hang out with you, like, if I'm totally honest. You guys are extremely tuned in. And if there was any part of you that's like, am I on the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Please let this be your confirmation that you can really trust yourself. Everyone needs to learn how to do that, even if it's messy in the beginning, but there's a lot of purification that I'm seeing has happened with this group. You guys are operating through very pure lenses. When I lean on certainty and faith, I change my mind about the world I see. Yeah, and you guys have done this. I feel like you are seeing through the eyes of God, right? Anytime I see this eye, this reminds me of the third eye, the spiritual eye, the lens is the lens of God. And I feel like you have already made that transition, that tipping point. I'm seeing a correlation between the purple blue from the eye and the purpley blue hues from here, right? So I feel like this is really saying that you have done that. Like, you have done an incredible amount. A lot of these cards are like, have a lot of darkness that they're born from. So it's like, you've faced your shadow, you've faced the darkness, you've faced your confusion, you've faced it, and you've had to, like, I'm sure, we all have teachers, we are all helping each other, but like, you've gone through a lot of this, and you've had to figure it out for yourself. All right, but you haven't lost your heart along the way. And again, that's the most important thing, is not losing your heart along the way. And I feel like you're really seeing through the lens of the spiritual eye that recognizes that no one is inherently good, no one is inherently bad. Sometimes there's things that we do that cause suffering, but generally that suffering and those things that we do that cause suffering are born from confusion. You guys see that. Like, I feel like this is a pile that wouldn't label someone as evil or negative, or wouldn't put toxic labels onto people, but understand, okay, that person must have their own, they're not, you can recognize the suffering in that individual to cause suffering to other people, right? Not seeing through the eyes of God. It's not like binding them the truth of who they are to anything. It's like, God is within all of us. That same light animates all of us, but the only difference is the degree to which that light has been revealed to oneself, and the degree that they're allowing that light to operate through them. Pile number one, you are letting that light take over. And it's so clear, and people can see it, people can feel it. You're radiating. You guys are powerful, and you leave a wake of light and beauty and radiance everywhere you go. And this is only the beginning for you guys, is what I'm hearing. This is only the beginning. It's getting better. It's always, all we have is now. But, rest assured, this is just going to expand. So you guys are doing a great job. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community. And yeah, I cannot wait to meet some of you guys in person because y'all are on the Liddy committee, okay? And I'm here for it. So pal number one, please like, comment, subscribe if it resonates, and I hope to see you soon. Hey pal 2, welcome to your reading, your head versus heart reading. FYI, we have 3 oracles that came up, one for the head, one for the heart, and then just overall to tie up the reading at the end. And then I have been shuffling the tarot cards in between each pile because I'm only using one deck today, okay? So I haven't looked at any of them though. Some of them have flipped over, so I've already seen glimpses, but I haven't really tuned into the energies quite yet. So we're going to do all of this real time together, pile number 2. So starting off with this reading, we're going to ask Spirit, where is pile 2 at in terms of their head? Okay, what's going on in that head of yours? Gnosis. Okay, a lot of good stuff, man. Pile number 1 was like, pile number 1 was so incredible, and I'm not surprised. There's a lot of good things going on in your guys' realities, and I'm here for it. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I started reading tarot. Oh my God. Which was a very like heart thing for me to do, because my head would have told me a different thing, okay? But anyway, side point. So Gnosis, what this is saying, what's going on in your head, you guys are immersing yourselves in great teachings, ancient teachings, ancient wisdoms. These are like my philosophers. I always hear like philosopher's stone. So you guys might have like significant placements in like ninth house placements, and Sagittarius, right? Some Sagittarius energy, but I mean, that doesn't really matter overall. Yeah, we might have some Virgoan energy as well. But at the very least, this is just telling me that what's going on in your head is a lot of good stuff. Like you guys are purifying, right? There's different levels that we can work to purify toxicity, purify illusion, right? Dispelling illusion from our realities. And one of the ways to do that is through the mind. So I'm hearing some of you guys are working with subliminals. Some of you guys are working with like sound healing. You guys are really coming at this from a very balanced place. And yeah, whenever I see this card too, it's beautiful that we have the moon, right? The moon in the background. So I feel like this is like even the places that might be like taboo or touchy for other people, I feel like you guys are really comfortable in understanding the fullness, the full scope of like all of the colors, right? We have this bird kind of encircling all the colors. So I feel like for you guys, nothing is really off limits in terms of what you explore and how you learn. And yeah, I'm just getting a very wise sense from this group. So we're going to see what's going on, see what else the tarot has to say. So we have Justice. So there's a lot more coming through here about a lot of like great balance. Like pile number 1 was also like this, where there was like such a beautiful balance. Like, you know, the mind can generally be a place where we can create a lot of confusion and suffering for our own selves. So I feel like this is really saying that you guys are very wise and discerning. Yeah, I just saw this card, the Emperor. You guys are very wise and discerning. You know, it's like that saying of like the wolf, the wolves that live inside us, right? There's like this tale of this grandfather speaking to his son about how we have 2 wolves living inside of us. We have a black wolf, or the shadow wolf, and we have a white wolf, or the light wolf, right? And so, you know, they're at a constant battle internally. And the little boy says, "Oh, but grandfather, which wolf wins in the end?" And the grandfather responds, "The wolf that you feed." Right. And so that's where pile number 2 is operating at. You guys are very discerning, like internally in your mind, like what you are feeding. In your own way, I feel like you guys have come very far in understanding karma, understanding how people treat you as a reflection of them. You really, I feel like you're at a place where I feel like you guys don't really worry about other people. Like when other people are trying to like affect you or come at you, it's like, I'm really getting the sense that this group wouldn't be one that is really worried about other people meddling in your life, because I feel like you're just operating in your own realm, and you know that. Like you're coming from a place that feels very untouchable, right? Mentally, you feel very mentally strong, emotionally strong is what I'm getting as well. And you're very comfortable in your light and dark aspects. So that is really someone that, you know, someone that's kind of like hiding from their shadow self, or the parts of themselves that they don't like that's not, in my most humble of opinions, that's not a good growing ground for true confidence. True confidence is understanding that, you know, you're going to have all the colors of the spectrum involved in your field, and true confidence is not denying your insecurity, but it's knowing that you have nothing to prove to anyone anyways, and that it's okay if that insecurity is there, right? And just like owning who you are in all moments, like not denying your humanity in order to feel more divine, right? So embracing the entire color spectrum, and I see that you guys are doing that. So now I want to see what's going on with your guys' heart. I just saw 444 on the clock. We have the prayer. Oh my God, these have been so beautiful. So you guys are very devotional. There's a lot of purification that's happening in your heart. You guys are beings that really abide by the golden rule very naturally. I feel like you guys, because I'm seeing this gnosis, you guys understand a lot of metaphysical law and spiritual teachings, right? You guys understand that other is self and self is other, right? I feel like there's not a whole lot of separation, and you really do. If you are trying to navigate situations and you're not sure where the heart stands, at the very least, you know where to go in order to like confirm or at least to validate what feels truthful to you, even if it seems like a different approach than the majority of people would take. Because this is a very pure pile. This is a very pure group. This is, wow, this is beautiful. I feel like, yeah, this is like you guys consistently reaching for something greater than yourself, right? And I feel like with my pile number 2, you guys are in a space where there's a lot of tenderness. I feel like you have many moments throughout your day-to-day experience where you do feel like your heart opening. You feel a deep connection and a deep gratitude is what I'm getting for this group. A deep gratitude for who you are, a deep gratitude for like where you've been, and a deep gratitude just for like the intricacies and the complexities of your life, and how despite everything that you guys have probably gone through to be in this position of having this like very royal and regal emperor type of energy in your field, whether you are male or female, it's like, you know, an emperor is an emperor not because they win all battles. It's because you've probably lost quite a few. But you don't take that those losses as ultimate defeat, right? And you continue to stand up and continue. This could be metaphorically, just like an internal type of thing. And this can most certainly be like external things and, you know, the external triggers and circumstances that ultimately are always here to point us back unto ourselves. So let's see what else is going on in the heart space with you guys. Oh my gosh. All right. This is really just, these 2 piles have been like, y'all are doing great. You know, continue doing what you're doing. You're doing a really good job. So I feel like you guys, there is, you know, this is just this newborn like chick, and this prayer card to me really reiterates the point that you guys are operating from a lot of purity and a lot of innocence. And there's yeah, I feel like that pile number 2, you guys do your best to live very lightheartedly and to not take yourself so seriously, not to take life so seriously, even though there's such a pristine wisdom here. It's like when you know, I feel like true wisdom is, and there's a reason in my belief that this is said in the Bible, that unless ye be like little children, you cannot enter the kingdom. Because yes, wisdom can be there, but if you also have cut your capacity off to love and to be in joy and to like be in ultimate surrender, then what is all that wisdom anyways, right? It's just more information that, you know, in some senses can keep you just as bond, even if you had never been exposed to those things. And I'm seeing that you guys are not like that. You guys are very joyful. Like, I feel like this would be a pile that is just like cracking jokes and doesn't take themselves so seriously. It's like, that is like such a true form of wisdom. Someone that is so balanced, like someone you can have such deep, real conversations with. Like pile number 2, people can have real ass conversations with you, but at the same time, you're sending like funny memes to people or funny things. Like you're not taking it too seriously. And because of that, like there is like such an innocence about you. I'm hearing that you slow down your aging process too, because, you know, it's not necessarily the body that is what causes the aging or the cells of the body, but it's like the rapidity of the mind, the rapidness of the mind, right? So a lot of vata energy, it's a lot of that air energy. And so the more rapid your mind moves, like in a sense that is extending, or that like speeds up the process of decay, right? But when you're just like peaceful and you're present and you're like, I'm just gonna go towards the things that actually set me free, like my pile number 2 does, it speeds down that, or it slows down that process to a great extent. And you access, you know, you're also activating a hell of a lot of celestial DNA, right? Cosmic DNA. There's so many different levels to these things. But ultimately, you know, just to keep it really simple, you guys are doing a great job at just like being here, being present, being now, letting your heart guide the way. And the mind is in a really good place to allow that cultivation. It's like the heart is really this feminine energy, and the feminine energy needs a healthy container, and your mind is a healthy container at this moment. And it's like your heart has created the heart has like set the bar in terms of the type of container that it needs. And it needs one that is well established in higher principles and higher teachings and higher wisdoms, right? And so it's not sabotaging the heart along the way. And you guys are in a really good space in doing that. Oh my God, you have the Magician. And I just saw 1010 too. So yeah, you guys, maybe everyone is going through this too. Just like an incredible, insane. Yeah, you guys have all major arcana came up in your guys' tarot card. So you guys are like really operating from, and you had 1 initiation. There's only 8 of these in a deck of like this thick. So like this, you guys are, I got some advanced fucking souls. Some like old souls. There's no hierarchy, but just like, y'all know what is up. Okay. Y'all know what is up. You've been around the block. Okay. and you've learned a lot. And I feel like this is saying that when you create from the space of the heart, powerful things happen. Pile number 2, you guys are creating powerful things on the planet. You guys are laying the groundwork. You guys are laying a path for other people. Essentially you guys are someone that people like want to work with. People want to be on your team. Things move fast for you. Like when you make a decision, because it's made from your heart, which is an extension of your higher mind, your soul, things come to you very quick, right? And all you needed to do was kind of acknowledge that that's a thing and just line your own personal will up to that. And I feel like things just happen so quickly for you. It's because you're balanced. You're a very balanced individual, holistically. And you are powerful. I feel like, again, there's that notion that you don't take yourself too seriously. You don't take other people too seriously. You understand that, we're all just kind of like doing the best where we're at. And there is such like a lightheartedness and like just like a humorous and funny sense about you. I wouldn't be surprised if you guys are teachers or have your own platforms as well in some sort of way where you're teaching this kind of thing in your own way. And you're just like, even if it has nothing to do with spirituality, some of the wisest people, wisest beings that I can come across are beings that just like so holistically honor their expression. Right? Because I feel like that's how God gets to know itself and all, through all of these different infinite amount of permission slips for God to be incarnate, divinity incarnate. Right? And so beings that just holistically honor who they came to be and all their quirks and all their flaws and all of their, all the levels that you're at, like you can understand that you are divine, but then also understand that taking a birth means you're not going to see everything, and that's okay, right? And so you guys, I don't think I really need to go on. You guys are operating in incredible realms. You're creating a pathway. Like if there's anything, like if there was anything within you guys, and I said this to pile number 1 too, so I want to say it to you guys, if there's anything in you that's wondering if you're on the right path or you're doing the right thing, you can trust yourself, right? You can absolutely 100% trust yourself, and where you're going, where you're headed is leading to even more greatness. And this is just the beginning. It's going to get even better from here, and you're going to have all of your needs met, man, like above and beyond. Okay. So next we have, my faith has the power to turn trauma into healing, conflict into growth, and fear into love. So this kind of reminds me of the magician energy. You've really, and this justice, there's like an alchemy that you have allowed to happen. And, because the word trauma came up and I see gnosis here, like sometimes our greatest traumas and something we never would have asked for from this level catalyze us into our greatness. It's actually our deepest sufferings that can sometimes create the most powerful people on the planet. So you guys may have had a significant amount of that. And because of it, it's like you guys are extremely humble, extremely empathetic. All right, you don't have the capacity to really have those overabundant amounts of narcissistic tendencies, right? Superiority complexes, because you've been humbled, right? And you know what it's like to deeply suffer. You know what it's like to be in like extreme amount of fear, whether that be physical, mental, emotional, whatever. And you've done, like with this Emperor, again, it's like the sense of you've lost some battles, right? And you have some scars, but that's what makes you all the more beautiful, right? So pile number 2, I'm going to leave this reading here for now. You're doing a great job. You guys are extremely powerful, right? Continue on pushing forward, and like this video if it resonated, comment down below, subscribe if you've been here before, and I really hope to see you soon. What's up, group number 3? Here is your reading for what is going on in that beautiful mind of yours, and what is going on in your head, and how they more or less, your heart, and how they more or less align or conflict. So 3 oracles today, one for head, one for heart, one for overall to tie everything together. And then I have been shuffling tarot between each pile, but I haven't looked at anything. Some of the cards flip over, but I really don't tune into the energies until we're doing this real time. So we're going to hop into your reading for what's going on in your head and your heart. So starting off with the head, the tear. And you guys had quite a few tarot cards come up when I was shuffling for the head, okay? So there might just be overall some kind of release or some type of rebirth experience or some type of painful experience that has catalyzed you in a direction of like where you've had to let something go, or like at the very least you've had to let go of versions of yourself that were weighing you down. But there is something very significant in your mind about release, and something that you've been, maybe mulling over and wondering if you did the right thing, or just like, just grieving, the grieving process. You might have even lost someone recently, so you might just be marinating on memories. This could be lost, like just lost them in your life. There's no longer, like you guys are no longer going to be seeing each other in physical reality as much. if not anymore. And this could be like someone has made their transition, onto the next phase of their journey and no longer in this form. Okay. So the tarot is going to tell us a bit more about what's going on with my pile number 3s. We have Judgment. There's that emerging from darkness. Okay. So there's a lot that could say. Emerging from darkness. Yeah, you might have had some certain like realization recently that either allows you to feel more free, right? That is like really setting you free and it feels good. Or this could also be saying like, this is just temporary and the mind is in a lot of chaos and confusion right now and you will feel free. On the other side of this is more freedom, okay? Next, we have the Hierophant. Interesting. Wow, there's a really powerful teacher, something that you're learning very powerfully right now. This could be saying that, you're seeking guidance from someone about this, or you want to seek guidance from someone about this, or you're just like, this could even be saying that you're learning a lot from this experience and you're already making the connections, or you're kind of walking yourself through it. For your higher aspect is kind of walking yourself through this, where you just know that this is the right thing to do. I am getting a sense of maturity around whatever is happening in your guys' incarnation. With the lightning bolt too, with this Hierophant, this could just be telling me that something came in really suddenly, right? Something that you weren't necessarily expecting, or just the amount of emotion that it's brought up is a lot. And maybe that's something that's an aspect that you weren't expecting. Okay. Yeah. We have 10 of Swords. So something is ended, right? Something has for sure ended and ran its course, and it's teaching you a lot right now. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. So I feel like this could have to do with something that this could have to do with like a young male, or at the very least, just a young person in general. And at the very, very least, this could just be saying with the Knight of Pentacles, this is something that you at one point saw a lot of potential with, or something that had a lot of potential, or just that, has been in your incarnation or your experience for a while, right? And it seemed like you guys were just starting, or something was just beginning. This doesn't have to be with a person. This could have just been with like, where you thought you were going in your career, or just like something just seemingly to suddenly change or suddenly shift. And this could even be like you having a moment of like, with Judgment, it's all about having a moment of deep soul recognition, right? Or when you have a moment of just like clarity and an epiphany about yourself. And so something has to change, and it's going to be hard. There's going to be that grieving process, and it doesn't mean like it's not going to hurt, the fact that you have to end something or walk away from something, but ultimately it's going to lead you to this. It's going to lead you to rebirth. Again, that rebirth energy was coming through. It's going to lead you to really feeling like more like yourself and less like you're being weighed down, because there's a lot of darkness. There's like a significant amount of black that's in all five of these cards, pile number 3. So there's a lot going on in your minds, but ultimately I feel like you guys are doing your best to see this through a glass that is half full versus a glass that is half empty. I'm seeing that you're really doing your best to acknowledge the teaching or the lesson that's in this, and you're like trying to learn a lesson about something that's happening in your experience, right? So let's see what's going on in your heart. We have the Threshold. Okay, yeah, this kind of confirms that, for some of you guys who haven't made this transition, maybe it's like you guys are anticipating something, or it's there, or this could even be saying that your heart has felt like it hasn't been safe to fully express, or it hasn't been safe to fully experience, or to fully show up, to really let yourself come through for whatever reason. And so it's felt like you were on this threshold for a while, and it's like a new version of yourself has been wanting to come through. And so this is now through this release, this new version of yourself is going to come through, this new amount of embodying your truth and embodying your soul. The heart is the gateway to the soul and to that intuition, to the higher self. And so I feel like you've been on this brink of wanting to break through and break free, but along with that, we can subconsciously deny our power, because we know when we embody that next level of light, that there's going to be aspects that cannot handle that light, right? And that cannot make that journey with us. And so maybe your heart has been just like dancing around the edges of something, because that means that, this big change is going to happen. Something's going to shift. Or maybe this is saying that the more that you started to embody your heart and your light, it didn't jive with the people around you, right? And there were some people that were, subconsciously threatened by it, maybe even consciously threatened by it. And so it might have been hard to let those things go, or to like trying to navigate, okay, this is family. In our day and age, we have to acknowledge that there's a relevancy, right? We're on a point on the planet where the people that we call family, there's still a lot of conditioning around how to navigate those dynamics in a way that doesn't always leave us as free as if it was like someone we just met, or someone even like friendships, but aren't necessarily family, but friendships who have been in our lives for a long time can be easier sometimes to like be like, hey, not serving me anymore, bye, maybe not always so casual. But there's like conditioning around doing that with family. So for some of you guys, this might be like, okay, how do I navigate this with like my brother or my uncle or, my dad, my grandpa, whatever, right? Or whoever this could be relating to. Let's see what else is going on. Ooh, yeah. Your heart might have been picking up something like a certain level of just like it's not safe, or something feels off, or something feels sneaky, something doesn't feel right. Yeah, with your mind, with a judgment and the Hierophant coming up in the mind, I feel like maybe you would like your heart was telling you something about a situation that you were like wanted to see. You're just like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is really what's going on, or if I'm making this up, right? And so your heart is like kind of your heart was intuiting that something was off, and maybe that's something that came to the light. Or if you guys are wondering what's going on, or if something is off, I feel like this is kind of confirming that, your judgment is kind of spot on with what's going on, okay? Next we have the Hermit. Interesting. Let's see the last card, the Knight of Wands. So I feel like for many of you, that what could be really helpful during this time is taking space to like disengage so much from your mind, right? There's a lot going on in your mind. There's a lot of epiphanies. There's a lot that I feel like has come to light for my pile number 3s, and your heart needs space. Your heart needs time to marinate. Your heart needs time to acclimate and to just kind of integrate what's been going on, right? There could be a potential and a capacity to over exercise something, or to like, with the 10 of Swords, this could be saying that you're just like, there's something that you are just like over analyzing to the point to where it is bringing you to this point of just like this point where you feel like it seems like you're on the brink of like either a moment of awakening or a moment of like psychosis, right? And gosh, sometimes I can be extreme in my verbiage, okay? So I feel like depending on who you ask, that's the same thing, okay? But it's just how you frame it, right? That can make all of the difference. So for some of you, this is like saying what your heart is intuiting. For some of you, this is most certainly saying that your heart is intuiting something about a situation. Yeah, this could, for some of you guys, I feel like this might have to do with a partner that you're wondering if they are, you guys might have a certain contract to be monogamous, or, for some of you guys, you're intuiting something in that realm, right? It could be about a partner. Are they, A, B, C, and D? Or this is like, there's a sense of feeling like something is not, there's a dynamic, and what is being displayed on the surface is not actually what's going on beneath the surface, or like, everyone's not on the same page, okay? That's what the fuck I'm trying to spit out. It could have to do with romance. It could not have to do with romance, right? There's different energies tuning into this, but this is ultimately saying your heart is intuiting or feeling that something is not as it seems, right? And so your guides are urging you into going into a calm space and staying in a space of contemplation and meditation, because there is a huge opportunity for pile number 3 to learn from this, right? And part of it might, for some of you guys, what you're intuiting on the level of the heart will be confirmed, and what you're picking up is what is going on, okay? And that is going to leave you in a space of grief. But this is also saying for some of you guys, and this is for you guys to figure out for yourself, okay? Because, I very strongly dislike when people are like, oh yeah, this tarot reader told me A, B, C, and D. That's a way of giving up responsibility and accountability for your life, okay? Tarot should never be telling you something new about yourself. It should only be confirming what you deeply know to be true. It's a tool, right? It's not the guide map, okay? For some of you guys, this is saying that you are over analyzing something, or your mind, the amount of anxiety that might be existing in your mind around something being a possibility is starting to seep, 11:11 on the clock, is starting to seep into your heart, right? And so now your heart feels like it doesn't know what to trust. It doesn't know what to do. It doesn't know, right? And so you're on this threshold of like, you're going to figure it out, right? When you're in the deepest amounts of confusion, you're on the You are on the brink of a breakthrough, okay? So you're going to figure it out very soon. But trust your heart. I'm hearing it's very important to trust your heart, to stay in a meditative space, and to bring yourself into a space to where you don't need it. You don't need whatever's going on outside. You don't need it to be A, B, C, or D, okay? You're not taking your cues of how you feel about this. And if it does inevitably, right, because I'm seeing there is a possibility that there is going to be some purging on the level of the heart, or there's like, this is an invitation, whether, you're on, whatever is happening is confirming or denying whatever you think is or is not happening, or is not the case of your reality, the people that's in your life, etc., right? It's all an invitation to set you free, okay? So you're either, when you're believing anything to be true about yourself that is inherently based off illusion, if it's transient, it's based off illusion, you are binding yourself to the wheel of cause and effect. We call that the wheel of samskara in yogic terminology. That's just the wheel of karma in general, cause and effect. Something happened, so it makes me feel this type of way inside, right? Versus that wheel of transcendence of like, okay, if I'm feeling a great amount of suffering in this moment, it's always parallel to the amount of attachment I have about something needing to be a certain way in order to confirm or deny something about myself. Okay, and this is where your investigation comes in and where your growth comes in, okay? But yeah, there's different people tuning into this. There's a lot of people that this one reading is a gateway for and a channel for, okay? So it's really important that you guys, this is a co-creative experience. You guys take what resonates for you. Don't twist it around and like make something up that is not, how it is, because that is kind of the energy that I'm seeing you guys are already in. And so it's important that we don't continue to feed that energy, okay? So there's a lot about meditation here. That's important. And letting your mind, like releasing thoughts and just aligning with your heart as much as you can, not denying your power, not denying any sense of being the creator of your life from a higher level, right? And doing your best to align to that higher aspect, right? The universe has my back. This is like the name of this entire deck. Life has got your back, okay? This is ultimately like one of those piles that it's like, I'm doing my best in a short amount of time to describe the necessity of remembering that whether it's something we want, whether it's something we don't want, I promise you, it is always guiding you in the direction of greater power. It's always guiding you to more of this, to more moments of this, to eventually one day you're not going to have to go in this bullshit anymore. And you're just up here. Like that wheel of cause and effect doesn't get you. It's like there comes a point where the scales tip and we don't need as many negative or like unwanted catalysts, and it's not punishment or it's not reward. I mean, like you are being a good girl now, so you don't need this. It's like you're not taking the bait of anything outside meaning anything. And so because you're operating more from expanded levels, expanded paradigms anyways, the only reason we need those bumpers, right? If you think of bowling, the only reason we bump into the side is because we're not getting it, right? We're missing the mark versus going straight for the strike. Right? What is the truth of life? What is the truth of each experience? It's here. It's now. It's not going to last forever. Like, doing your best to see that everyone, for the most part, is like their own karmic complexity is running off. And until you start getting around more people that have attained a certain degree of self-sovereignty, then for the most part, people are just acting out of their assholes anyways, right? And why would we take that serious or personally? Nothing is personal, whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether someone is praising us or, condemning us. It has nothing to do with who we are, right? And so I feel like there's a catalyst externally, and it doesn't have to do with people, but I'm getting the sense that it does. It is in the realms of an individual or a group of people or something that is, you've been intuiting, right? It doesn't feel right. Something feels off, and there might come or this has already happened, or you're waiting for it to happen, something, right? Something has felt off and it's coming to an end, or it's already ended. And so now there's that process of purification. That's inevitable, okay? But it's all here to set you free. The universe has your back. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, it has your back, and it wants you to experience yourself more in the light of the creator. And there's a great this is a great teacher. Whatever it is, it's a great teacher. Teacher isn't just a person, right? It's not someone who has claimed or adopted the title of a teacher, whatever the fuck that means. But it's just everything has the capacity to teach us when it's utilized as such. And generally the best teachers we have are those things that are very painful, right? Because again, it shows us where we're still attached, and it forces us, invites, I should say, us into a space where we're really We ask the questions that will inherently set us free, ultimately. Okay. So pile number 3, blessings on your journey. If you feel like, talking about this or maybe connecting with other people in pile number 3, maybe comment down below. You don't have to, right? You don't have to share your life on the internet like some of us do. Okay. But otherwise, all that to say, blessings, you have everything you need, and I know you'll come out on the other side. So pile 3, I'm going to leave this here for now. Thank you for sharing your journey with me, and I hope to see you soon. Pile number 4, welcome to your reading for head versus heart. So we're going to see what is going on, okay? We'll see how much they're aligned and how much they may be conflicting. All right, so 3 oracles today, 1 for head, 1 for heart, 1 for to tie everything up. And then I've been pre-shuffling tarot between each, so I only have to use 1 deck. And so the same cards can come up in different piles if they need to, but so far they haven't. Okay, so we're going to jump into this, starting with what's going on in your head, pile number 4. The Hunter. There's something you're going after, or you're seeking clarity around something, right? See how he's like emerging from shadow and he's like going towards the little whatever speckle of light. So it could be saying, for some of you guys, there's been like something that you've been very confused about, and there's like you're seeking for an entry point into receiving greater clarity around something that's going on in your life. Seeking greater clarity about something, or you're wondering, some of you guys, that's what we'll get deeper in with the tarot, but for some of you guys, that could be it. For others of you, it could be that, you're trying to find where you're supposed to go, right? It feels like you haven't really been living on purpose, or maybe you've been trying to, or you have been, but you're just like, what do I do? Like, how do I share my gifts, or where do I go from here, right? Or how do I like make myself established in this niche that feels very different, very unique, or, where do I fit in from here? Where do I fit in? Where's my place? Where do I go? Okay, we'll get deeper in with the tarot. What's going on in pile number 4's head? Strength. Beautiful. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of perseverance because we have the Hunter, right? The fact that it's the Hunter, the horse reminds me of perseverance and like longevity. And the Strength card talks about perseverance and longevity because it is like this Leo energy. This could most certainly have to do with like purpose stuff, like Dharma type of stuff. And again, this could be just like there's been something like some sort of catalyst or something that you've been trying to seek clarity about for some time. And it's like it's about to give and you can feel it, or you have an entry point in some sort of way. There's like you've been just seeking for the light, for the death of you, or is that the phrase? For the death of you? You've been seeking the light for the death of you. I'm not sure if that's a phrase that, maybe you guys can intuit what I'm getting at, but I just noticed too that there's like some mirroring energy happening here. So we have the I and the X, we have the X and the I. So I feel like this could also be saying that you guys have been doing a lot of unearthing the light within yourself. And that is only a matter of time before you start to see that reflected externally. And so for some of you guys, you're starting to see that reflected back externally. But I feel like for the most part, because this is like what's going on in your mind, what's going on in your head, I feel like there's like clarity that you've been seeking. And so now you're starting to see the payoff of that seeking, that pushing, that deep desire to know God, that deep desire to know the source, to know truth, right? To unearth the truth around something or just life in general. Okay, let's get deeper. High Priestess. I spoke too soon because this did come up in another pile. So yeah, you've been utilizing your intuition too, right? So I love seeing cards that are like more intuitive come up in readings that I'm doing about the mind, or at least points in the reading that are about the mind. So you've really been doing a lot to strengthen your intuition, right? You've really been doing a lot to, you've been utilizing your intuition to guide your direction and to kind of navigate the tumultuous realms of your mind, right? And then it's interesting here too that we also have 2 like felines. So there's a lot of that like feline kind of Lyran energy coming through. Or in this case, I feel like, these animals, when they're provoked, they can show their teeth, and they're going to use it. So I feel like at some point, what's going on in your internal realm is you've kind of transmuted that reaction or that reactive nature. You've kind of learned to utilize, strength in particular talks about like taming the beast. And I feel like this is saying what's going on in your mind is you're either working to tame the beast of your mind, you've been working for some time to tame the beast of your mind, right? And to just feel okay and to feel like things are going to be okay and to not feel like you are at such a war between your own self. And so now that's finally paying off, or it's going to pay off, or we're going to see as we have a more coherent reading, we're going to see what's going on. But, we also have this symbol, the infinity symbol, which represents spirituality and infinity and infinite intelligence, right over the third eye, or right around the brow chakra. And then we have the high priestess. So I feel like this is really saying that, you've come a far way in terms of learning the difference between, like the shadow self trying to navigate and trying to call the shots, and your higher divine mind, right? And so I feel like there's a lot of power that's coming through in pile number 4. And it's also telling me that like you're not scared. Like there's a certain type of unfuck with ability that you start to embody when it's like you've seen the darkest parts of your own psyche. You've seen the darkest parts of the human psyche. So some of you might have even battled some, heavy types of addictions or heavy types of like disorders, right? And so now it feels like you're finally emerging from that, and you can conceptualize how far you've come, and you recognize the contrast between where you've been, the darkness you've been in, and now what it feels like to be in the light. And there's like no going back. You might slip up here and there, sure, fine, whatever. That's just old karma running off. But ultimately, you guys are sitting mighty to where like, it's possible. The teeth are there. It's possible to slip back. And because you're not, I feel like inherently with this strength and high priestess, and just like, it's like there's a relentless sense about pile number 4 that it's like, you don't make it, you're like, all right, I've seen worse. So like whatever happens externally, like you guys carry this sense of authority and wisdom that I can fucking handle it, right? So you don't get scared. Like the shadow doesn't scare pile number 4. That's what's going on. There's like a purity that you have started to embody because you've embraced your darkness. And you're starting to, you're emerging through that. Yeah, Page of Pentacles. So I feel like there's, because of this, there's like, you're starting to see like the Page of Pentacles is like new beginnings, right? It kind of reminds me of the Fool card. The pages remind me of the Fool card, and just like the suit that it's in kind of has that, adds another layer and another flavor. And I feel like ultimately that we did have that reflection of the inner, what was going on internally. It's only a matter of time before it starts to show externally. So what's going on in the mind is you guys might even be like, okay, when am I going to see changes externally? And so we'll see what the heart has to say, but you might just be like getting ahead of yourself, right? Putting the carriage in front of the horse. And Spirit just really wanted you to iron out your own internal things first, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God. Another way of saying that is like get yourself right first, right? And then everything else is going to make sense along the way. And so you guys have been in the space of getting yourself right. What's going on in the heart? The offering. Yeah, something is coming soon, okay? Page of Pentacles talks about someone offering. Something is coming. You're going to be offered something from someone. Whether it is a new job opportunity or just a new change in general, life is offering you something, okay? And because this is happening in the realm of the heart, this is coming up what's going on in your heart. It's like you're yearning for something new, okay? That yearning, that's your higher self telling you something's about to change. And so all of this unearthing you've done, this is your intuition saying like, you've been prepared for this and we needed you to go through this process, okay? It's never punishment. It's only preparing you for the greatness you are meant to embody. In pile number 4, you are here to embody a hell of a lot of greatness and a hell of a lot of authority. So because you guys have been through the darkness you have been, a lot of the beings that are drawn to my channel kind of suffer more from, or have suffered, can identify more with an inferiority complex versus that superiority complex, okay? You guys are a lot less likely to be like humble braggers or just like be people that are like flexing or, whatever, because you have been humbled by life. You have been humbled over and over again by life is what I'm hearing. So it's like by the time these great things come to you and these positions of power come to you, you're going to know what to do with them. And so right now your heart is feeling that yearning for something new. And it's feeling that yearning because it's getting you ready for it, because it's coming. All right. So if there's been any wondering of like, when is the show going to get on the road? You are on the road and the show is quickly approaching. Empress. Hell yeah. All right. So this is just saying your heart is in a very receptive place and to stay there as much as you can. You've done a lot of like purification of the mind. Right? Because there is a lot, this is like what's happening in the mind. There's a lot of purification that's happening. We have the high priestess, which tells me that the divine mind has started to infiltrate the limited mind, which is a good thing. We want to see this. And so this Empress energy with the High Priestess energy. There's a lot here. There's a very good balance we have with the Strength and the Hunter. That's the masculine, the empowered masculine, with the High Priestess, the Empress, and the Offering. There's a very good balance of feminine and masculine here. And so your heart is just like receptive. It's open. Keep it open. Keep it like it's, you guys are flowering. Okay. Pile number 4, you guys are flowering. You guys are literally emerging, right? I'm hearing emerging from darkness. Look at this. Yeah. We have, what is this? The 8 of Swords. So what I love about this 8 of Swords in general is it's like, no matter what the mind tries to suggest, you are protected, right? You're starting to recognize these temptations of the mind, right? These things for what they are. The air cards are about things that are much more of the mind than they are of reality. The thing about that too, that is important to remember, that, you know, a mirage, which is illusion, right? Illusion and mirages, they seem very real. And so this is never me shitting on what you actually believe is true and actually believe is a threat, okay? That's, honor that. It's really important that we honor exactly where we're at. But I feel like what's going on in your heart, there's a little bit of a mistrust, okay? I'm seeing a little bit of a mistrust for what's on the way, because you have experienced the shoe dropping before. You've experienced, like, just as it's getting good, something shitty happens. There's a lot of like karma that was being ironed out in the beginning of the years, and there was a lot of catching you back up to speed with the wisdom of your soul. So it wasn't a punishment. You didn't do something bad. There was a lot here too that I'm hearing about generational karma that you came through as the powerful soul that you are to help clear up for your lineage. And so your heart is a little bit untrusting, but ultimately I feel like it just feels very remnant. And there's going to be a little bit of like hesitation to accept something that's coming in. I'm seeing there's going to be a little bit of a hesitation because it might be like a too good to be true. And so you don't want to fuck that up. You're worried about self-sabotaging. You're worried about something, but you know, this is like, remain open. Okay. Don't close yourself down to something that could potentially really lead you into very bright paradigms because you feel like you're not ready. If it's being offered to you, life sees that you're ready for it. And whatever lessons are going to inevitably come along with it. Okay, so you guys have come a far way, a very, very long way. I'm very proud of you guys. I'm very happy. I just feel joyful. You know, I just know how good it feels, right? To finally feel like those scales have tipped and you're just like emerging into your power. And you guys are really very powerful. You guys are very, 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 very powerful. And you might not have always felt that way, or maybe at the very least you've felt it, but like what you felt and then what was like that old karma and that old fear, that old trauma was telling you a different story. That's that house divided against itself. But you've done a lot of purification, okay? You've done a lot of purification to where I am seeing that you're starting to know the power and own the power, and not just be like, you know, feel powerful when you're in your spare time and then, you know, situations come and you feel the opposite because, you know, there was still that healing that needed to happen. I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love. Yeah, so there is a lot here about trusting your heart. You guys are very wise, and I feel like you guys maybe have just had experiences with like narcissistic people even, or just experiences where your heart was open and then something happened that triggered it to close, or something taught you that it was not safe to live in this world with an open heart. You know, Ram Dass would say, like, summing up the human journey is like, how do you keep your heart open in hell, right? And so that in our most darkest places, that's what it can feel like, right? But then you guys are well on this path. You are well into seeing that, you know, that's the only way to live, right? That if you're really here to enjoy life and you really want to enjoy life, you have to go through the heart. It has to be open, because that is the gateway to your higher self. That's a gateway to your higher consciousness. So I am seeing a little bit of mistrusting of it for whatever reason, because maybe you have taken people's offers and then it's bitten you in the ass, okay? But it's all here to be a teacher. You don't know what role you were there to play for them. You don't know to what level that was a soul contract. You know, there's all these different things. Never stay in toxicity, never stay in abuse, right? That's never my advice. And tarot should only ever be confirming to you what you deeply know to be true, right? So overall, I'm seeing that you've come a long way in terms of mental, emotional, physical, spirit, everything, right? You've come a long way, and there's been a big battle of the mind and the subconscious and the nervous system. Okay, and what the nervous system tries to convince us is true. And so now you're coming to a place to where that divine mind has really penetrated, and you're seeing the light. You're embodying more of the light. and there's something coming in soon, your heart can feel it, and Spirit is being like, there might be some like remnant, like I don't know if I can trust this. But remember, it's, you know, it's just like old triggers or old remnant codes of that trauma, and use your best discernment. But I am seeing that, you know, you can trust yourself. You can most certainly trust your heart, and, you know, let that be your guide, right? I'm spirit. I'm a spirit having a human experience, and I'm here to get closer to love, right? And I love that the eyes are closed, because it's leaning not on my own understanding, that phrase, right? Leaning not on my own understanding. And whenever, the third eye always reminds me of like the eyes of God, or the eye of God is what you could call the eye of Horus. So seeing beyond the surface of things and saying, how is this here to set me free? How is this here to get me closer to like my own unique expression this time around? All right, Pal 4, thank you so much for entrusting me with this type of reading today. I hope this brought clarity, confirmation, peace to your heart. You're doing a great job. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of this growing community, and I really hope I see you soon.